What would you do if a stranger's arrogance turned your sanctuary into a battlefield? My name is Elias Hawthorne, and I've spent 20 years tending to my ranch in the rolling hills of Montana, a place where the sky stretches endless and the air smells of sagebrush and freedom. My land isn't just dirt and grass, it's a legacy, a promise I made to my father when he passed. The heart of it? My herd of black Angus bulls, a rare strain, federally protected for their genetic purity. They're not just livestock. They're my pride, my life's work. But Karen Whitaker didn't care about any of that. It started on a crisp October morning, the kind where frost clings to the fence posts and your breath hangs in the air. I was mending a gate near the north pasture when I heard the rumble of trucks. Not one, but three, kicking up dust on the private road leading to my property. I squinted, my gut twisting. No one comes uninvited. My lands posted big red signs every 100 yards. Private property. No trespassing. No hunting. I grabbed my rifle, more for show than intent, and hiked toward the noise. That's when I saw her, Karen. All designer camo and a smirk that could curdle milk. Standing with 4 hunters, their rifles gleaming like they'd walked out of a catalog. She was pointing at my bulls grazing in the distance, her voice carrying over the wind. Those are the ones. Big trophies. You'll be legends. Ma'am, I called, striding up. This is private land. You're trespassing. Karen turned, her eyes narrowing like I was the one intruding. Oh, honey, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. This is public land. I checked the maps. And those cows? Fair game. My blood boiled. Those aren't cows. They're federally protected black Angus bulls. And this land's been in my family for 3 generations. Get out. Now. She laughed a sharp, grating sound. Protected? Please. They're just cows. And I've got permission from the county to hunt here. She waved a piece of paper. Some half-baked permit she'd probably conned out of a clerk who didn't know better. The hunters shifted, uneasy. One of them, a wiry guy named Jake, lowered his rifle. Ma'am, if this is private property. It's not, Karen snapped. He's lying. Look at him. Some hillbilly trying to scare us off. Load up and let's go. I stepped closer, my voice low. You shoot one of those bulls and you're looking at federal charges. Prison time. Fines that'll bankrupt you. Karen's smirk didn't waver. We'll see about that. She turned to the hunters. Go on. I'll handle him. I should have called the sheriff right then, but I didn't. That was my first mistake. I thought I could reason with her, appeal to whatever shred of decency she might have. Instead, she doubled down, her voice rising as she accused me of forging deeds, of scamming the government for protected status. The hunters hesitated, but Karen's confidence was infectious. They started spreading out, eyes locked on my bulls. That's when Clara showed up. Clara's my neighbor, a retired wildlife biologist who's lived on her adjacent plot for longer than I've been alive. She's a small woman, barely 5 feet, with silver hair and a stare that could stop a grizzly. She'd been watching from her porch, binoculars in hand, and she'd seen the trucks. Now she marched up, her boots kicking up dirt. Elias, you okay? She called, then turned to Karen. Lady, you're in over your head. Those bulls are protected under the Endangered Livestock Act. You shoot one, and the feds will have you in cuffs before sundown. Karen rolled her eyes. Another local with a tall tale. You people are pathetic. Clara didn't flinch. I worked for the USDA for 30 years. I helped write the damn law. You want to test me? For the first time, Karen's smirk faltered. But she wasn't done. She pulled out her phone, dialed someone, and started ranting about harassment and fake laws. I caught Jake's eye, the hunter who'd spoken earlier. He looked torn, his rifle now slung over his shoulder. This true? He asked me quietly. About the bulls? Every word, I said. You can check the federal registry. Those animals are worth more to science than any trophy. Jake nodded, stepping back. I'm out, he said to the others. 2 of them followed, muttering about not wanting trouble. But the last hunter, a burly guy with a beard like a bramble patch, stayed loyal to Karen. I paid good money for this, he growled. I'm getting my shot. That's when it all went to hell. Karen, emboldened by her one loyal hunter, started marching toward the pasture, shouting about her rights. I blocked her path, my rifle still at my side but my patience gone. You step one more foot, and I'm calling the feds myself. She shoved past me, her shoulder slamming into mine. The burly hunter raised his rifle, aiming at a bull named Titan, my pride and joy, with horns that gleamed like polished obsidian. I shouted, Clara screamed, and then crack. The shot echoed across the valley. Titan staggered, blood blooming on his flank. He didn't fall, but the sight of him wounded felt like a knife in my chest. I raised my rifle, not to shoot but to warn, when Clara grabbed my arm. Don't, she whispered. Let the law handle it. Karen was screaming now, not in fear but in triumph, urging the hunter to finish the job. But Jake, the wiry hunter, had had enough. He tackled the burly guy, wresting the rifle away. You idiot, he yelled. You just shot a protected animal. The burly hunter shoved Jake off, but the damage was done. Titan was limping, and my heart was breaking. I called the sheriff, my hands shaking as I dialed. Clara stayed with me, her calm voice keeping me grounded as Karen ranted about lawsuits and her land. The sheriff arrived with 2 deputies and a federal agent who'd been nearby on another call. The agent, a no-nonsense woman named Agent Torres, took one look at Titan's wound and Karen's fake permit and started reading rights. You're under arrest for violating federal livestock protections, she said, cuffing Karen as she sputtered in disbelief. But it's just a cow, Karen shrieked. It's a felony, Torres replied, her voice ice-cold. The burly hunter was cuffed too, his bravado gone. Jake and the others were questioned but released. They hadn't fired a shot. Clara gave a statement, her USDA credentials sealing Karen's fate. The feds took her away, her screams fading as the trucks rolled out. But the story doesn't end with justice. Titan's wound was too severe. The vet came, tried to save him, but the bullet had torn through muscle and bone. I held his massive head as he took his last breath, my tears mixing with the dust. 20 years of care, of sleepless nights during calving season, of fighting to keep this herd Alevite all felt like it died with him. Clara stayed with me that night, her quiet presence a lifeline. She told me about a time she'd lost a rare bird she'd been studying, how the grief never fully leaves but turns into fuel to keep fighting. You'll rebuild, she said, for Titan, for all of them. Karen's trial came and went. She got 3 years and a fine that wiped out her savings. The burly hunter got 2, but no sentence could bring Titan back. My land felt emptier, the pasture quieter. I walk it now, checking the fences, watching the remaining bulls. They're still majestic, still worth fighting for. But every time I pass Titan's favorite grazing spot, I see him, and the ache returns. I learned later that Karen had a history scamming landowners, faking permits, always chasing a quick buck. She targeted my land thinking it was an easy mark, not knowing the bulls were more than just cattle. Her arrogance cost her everything, but it cost me more. What's the price of a legacy? For me, it was Titan. For Karen, it was her freedom. And for both of us, it was a lesson in hubris, written in blood on a Montana hillside. ND.